Imagine for a moment your pits smelling like nothing. You don't stink after you work out. Your teenager's foot odor doesn't exist. How is this possible? It's Lumi! Challenge Lumi to keep you funk-free for 72 hours. Go to uglytruth.com/Lumi. You can pick your favorite smell, the favorite type of applicator or stick or tube or wipe, and you will be amazed by your non-smelly body. uglytruth.com/Lumi. Welcome to The Ugly Truth. This is episode 526. Ugh. Happy Memorial Day for all of you who are out there. This is dropping on Memorial Day, I should say. I don't know if you're going to listen to it then or not. I don't know how many people do that, actually. Do you save them up and do people save them up and drive around? I actually know some people who say, oh no, I save them up when I drive. Because they drive long distances. I don't do that with
podcasts. But I do that with shows.
With many podcasts, they're so timely that I like to listen to them the day of.
Pretty quickly.
But there are some where I can wait and, you know.
It depends, yeah.
I hate Demi Lovato now.
I know. You know what? I've been I don't want to say hating her, but she has been exploiting her journey, rather publicly for a long fucking time now.
I think this is the thing. And I am this is our show. We can say whatever we want. I am very aware of LGBTQ. Yes. I'm aware of gender identity and fluidity.
Same, me too.
I accept. It does not affect me in any way if you choose to be non-binary. All of the things. I am not an idiot. I know, okay?
Yes,
I get it.
It's a real thing. We all get it. Yeah.
The thing that I'm struggling with Demi Lovato is this.
I don't think she knows who she is.
She doesn't, but she... I feel like it's very disingenuous. Everything she's doing is disingenuous. I don't mean just that I'm not binary now. It's like, no, it's not that. If she was, fine. I don't think I have no right to say whether she is or not.
Right.
But she just came out as gay like a minute ago.
Oh, okay. See, and I didn't even know she came out as gay.
And now she's non-binary. It's like, okay, well, what are we doing? Like, what is this? So I saw something today or yesterday. They said a lot of people feel this way. I am not the only one who's going, look, don't put yourself in a category where you're unable to be criticized because it's not appropriate to criticize people who claim gender fluidity or whatever. It's like you're not protected from being an asshole or taking advantage of something that is the buzzword of the day.
Right.
And
I agree.
It's difficult, and you're not allowed to say you're not fucking non-binary, you stupid bitch.
Yeah, you're not allowed to say that.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to say that, but it's like I think she is gay personally. She's always kind of, if you listen to her songs, if anything she's written, there's always a question of it. So it's like, cool. Congratulations, whatever, I don't know why suddenly, you appeared on the cover of Out magazine and now you're like, oh yeah, and by the way, I'm non-binary as well.
Right.
It's like, it doesn't...
Well, there's a lot of those coming out in the news this last week.
It's like...
Someone else said they were non-binary.
I struggle with
Courtney
it.
Stoddard. Which we're going to
get to her,
but
We're going to talk about that. But it's like, I struggle with it, and then I saw something today and they said, here's the thing why people are struggling with Demi Lovato's... if it's genuine, is that...
Her latest declaration.
Her newest declaration is she's getting a lot of blowback from trying to close down this little froyo shop in L.A.
Right.
She's apologized. She's doing everything she can, but people are like, you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
She's really exploiting her sobriety in the sense...
So much so.
In the sense that, I listened to her album. I've mentioned it on the show before. I wasn't a fan, personally.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lashing out, you just wanted to be with me for your 15 minutes of fame kind of shit. And I'm like, okay, well, can we just say, hey, I'm a drug addict and I'm doing my best? But no.
And that's the thing is, with her, is, I hate
there's a lot of anger.
I don't like the fact that she's become the face of addiction.
I don't think she is.
And, she's kind of clinging to that.
Trying.
And she's using it. And people are really like, oh my God, her journey's so beautiful. We appreciate her being so candid. And I'm like, look, she has relapsed more than she's been sober.
And not to mention, she goes around and professes that she's quote-unquote California sober.
Which means she smokes weed.
Yeah, then she's not sober.
She's not sober.
You can't do that.
No, really. If you know anything about addiction and sobriety, it's not what you do.
And you know what? A lot of people don't buy that bullshit that she's peddling because it's not... It's not.
Well, and that's my thing is look, before you start preaching about how to become sober and what, and all of that publicly when you have a platform like she does, you better really do some serious work to earn the ability
she's been
to
sober
have
for
people
well, she's not
like
sober.
6 months. Yeah, whatever. She almost died. What has it been, a year and a half? I mean, so, and it's like, and that wasn't her first time.
No,
relapsing publicly.
Relapse is a part. It is a part.
It is a part of it. But then
However,
don't come out and say like,
yeah,
this is it. This is the one time, and she keeps getting engaged to these variety of people and new boyfriends and all this shit. And I'm like, you are a fucking hot mess.
Oh, totally.
So stop putting the label on society like, hey, I am the face of sobriety and I know what addiction's all about. Listen to me, follow me, buy my music, everything else. Because
stay at my rehab facilities that I just opened up.
I'm like over it. I'm like, this is so incredibly irresponsible to me.
Someone was saying that because she's really struggling with her identity, and I don't even mean her sexual identity. I mean in general.
Who is she? Yeah.
Who am I? I think she's going through it front and center.
I agree.
But she's also feeling like, I'm going to glob onto everything because my fan base is gone.
Well, she's trying to salvage.
She's trying to find some way of being relevant.
Yeah.
And it's like, if that
she has a beautiful voice.
If that's not LA, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of her, because even if you are extremely talented, if you're a musician or whatever, you can absolutely ruin your life publicly, depending on what you're doing.
One thing.
So many. Yeah, and she's done many things.
Many things.
So, I mean, I think her publicists are like, look, we have to find a thing for you to be, something for you, a life raft.
Yes.
And people are really believing this whole journey of you getting sober and everything, so let's go with that.
And let's continue on that path.
Because they feel sorry for you.
But here's the thing.
They think you're being honest.
She's not doing very well.
No.
I looked at something she did or said or whatever, and I said, Britney Spears was punished for a conservatorship for less. Like, what the fuck is this woman doing?
I know, right?
And by the way, she's talked about how her parents ain't big fans of what the fuck she's doing right now.
Really?
They're like, if you don't straighten up, you can't see your sister.
Yeah.
If someone said that to me, I'd be
like... She said that's why she got sober the time before.
Yeah. And
because they forbid her to see her sibling.
Fair.
Yeah.
She's probably a huge influence on her sister.
Well, I'm sure she is. Who wouldn't look up to your sister if she was Demi Lovato?
Oh, my... Any sibling. You have an older sibling. Like... This is a different thing, but Tyler was like, I don't understand why Mackenzie and Alyssa were always like bugging me. They were always in my room. And Alyssa's like, dude, we worshipped you. You were like the coolest guy ever. You're the reason we love Nirvana.
Right.
So
that's cute.
Any older sibling, and if they're even remotely anything, you're like, oh, I want to be just like you. And if Demi's like, yeah, I'm California sober, you want to get high with me? And your little sister will be like, yes.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, and the thing about being an addict is the things that you give off are very subtle. It's not like you're, like here, putting the crack pipe in their mouth.
It's true. It's not like that at all.
It's your nuances. It's the way you carry yourself. It's the way you interact with people, your relationships. All that stuff is what drives people in addiction. And so they're probably worried that, like, hey, she's probably not going to give her a crack pipe, but just the way she acts and her general attitude.
And how about the people that she hangs out with?
And the people she associates with and what's acceptable in her social world.
I wish that I felt bad, but I don't feel bad. I'm judging the shit out of her. I'm like, look, and you know what it is? Is that well, you know why? Because we know what addiction
I do. There's nothing glamorous about it.
There's nothing good about it. You can't put the spin on it.
And if she dies, one of these times, if she falls off the wagon again and she dies, then all this shit she did, for money is like, okay, great.
Wait, what was this?
Yeah. So this is how your story ended, because most addicts, there's only couple of ways that your story's going to end if you don't get clean.
That's right. Death, jail, or homelessness.
And a lot of these rich people, these celebrities, they almost always die and don't go to jail.
Yeah.
Because they have endless money. Yeah. And so they can buy as many drugs as they want.
Mm-hmm.
And they have people who protect them and cover up for them.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
It's very dangerous to be an addict if you're a rich celebrity.
There are very, very few success stories in Hollywood. Robert Downey Jr., who, by the way...
One of the very few. Good Lord.
Well, not only that, but I mean, he's not... he did not walk out of that sin-free.
No, he didn't.
He's a little nutty,
He's a little nutty.
And he knows his limits, too. He's just like, my wife saved my life. It's like...
Well, and he really paid. I mean,
he paid.
He's one of the few people who actually hit. I don't want to say he hit rock bottom. I'm not really sure what his story is. Yeah,
he went to jail.
But he went to prison. He didn't.
Times.
He didn't just go to jail. He went to actual prison. And I think he probably was like, I don't want to fucking do this. Yeah. I mean, which is the hope for everyone is like, if you go to jail, it's supposed to be a deterrent, so you don't want to keep doing that shit.
That's right.
So he's really lucky that he didn't keep doing it.
And then I didn't realize that Rob Lowe was such an addict.
He was.
I had no idea.
But you know what? He's one of those,
sober for 30 years.
He has been, and he's one of those people that, and I'm not judging him, because you do what you got to do. If you're an addict and you have the world at your fingertips because you have endless money and you know you can't use, that's why he's super embraced the whole healthy lifestyle.
He does.
The Atkins diet, whatever it's called. Yes. Because it's just something else to be addicted to.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with it as long as it's not something that's going to kill you. Yeah.
I agree.
So
I agree completely. Yeah. I mean, I never would wish anything but success for her. I hope that down the road she realizes that she's full of shit and gets humbled. She's not humbled. I don't know what, but you know what? It's like, I didn't realize that having a stroke and almost dying wasn't your bottom. I mean, it wasn't her rock bottom.
That's what worries me about her. It's not. Her bottom is going to be like death.
I don't want it to be, but I mean, Prince
I don't either. You know,
Prince died.
I don't know how old Demi is. She's
like barely 30.
Okay.
Is she even? I
don't know.
Young.
She's young.
Really young.
I know she's young, and I'm hoping that with maturity, that maybe she will also realize, you know, that what she's doing to me it's really irresponsible.
Yeah.
Because she does have so many people that look up to her,
yeah.
and as a woman, as a girl who has had a broken past and has struggled with things, you know, I just want for her to somehow figure out what it is that is causing her so much pain.
Yes.
Because it's not her relationships. It's not her business. You know,
it's something that happened to her a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And she hasn't found it yet.
Clearly.
And she's really...
I do feel like, and a lot of people probably who know addiction, who have seen sobriety, have seen the struggle, understand that this is all bullshit.
Yeah.
And they know it, and they're calling her out on it. They're like, can't say that. She can be non-binary. So she can be non-binary, but that's not what this is about.
No.
She's putting that shit up as a protection from criticism, in my opinion.
Or it's something else she's hiding. It's some other thing that she's masking.
Yeah.
Because she's using all these, you know, she's been masking her pain with relationships, with men, you know, with drugs, you know, with
food.
Her food, yes. She's all of those things. So maybe this is just another mask, and she's still not getting to the root of what her problem is.
What really fucking sucks about addiction is nobody can do, it's like being a parent. You can tell them till they're blue in the face. They will not do it until they decide, by the way, guys, did you know that you can't be California sober?
Yeah.
Yes, we all knew. Yes. Yeah. Yes, Demi, we all knew. You can't be California sober.
Yeah,
God.
True.
It's just crazy. But,
true.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I hating her... No, I hate everything she's doing right now.
I hate what she's doing right now, too.
I don't hate her.
Like, I'm just annoyed now to the point to where I'm not going to read any more shit about her anymore. No. You know, I know it's going to pop up on my feed or whatever on my Insta because it's going to be a headline of some sort. Yeah. But I'm not going to, like, delve into it and be like, oh, good, I hope she finds herself. You know, no.
Just don't let her have a baby. Don't let her get a pet. You know, just let her be destructive on her own, please, for the most part. Anyway, okay, and then... newsflash, Chrissy Teigen is a bitch.
Oh my God. So I know, okay, in the past, I thought you and Paula were kind of Chrissy Teigen fans.
Paula doesn't like anybody who's successful, but I don't know, I liked Chrissy Teigen because she had done a couple of things where she claims I'm really awkward, I'm an awkward girl.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That stuff, and I'm like, I can totally embrace that.
Yeah.
She had a horrific miscarriage, or actually it was almost
her
a stillbirth.
Yes, recently.
And she made John Legend, her husband, photograph her during the whole process.
It was very touching.
Got a lot of criticism for that.
Yeah.
Initially, I went, why would you do that? But if she's going to say, no, this is what miscarriage looks like, this is what happens, you know, this is, you know, whatever, I'm like, I can get behind it. I understand. It would not be my choice.
No.
But I did, obviously, I looked at the photos, I saw everything, and I felt for her.
I think her pain was absolutely genuine.
It was absolutely legitimate, and she wanted desperately to have this baby. And she had other miscarriages, so I get it.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I'm quitting Twitter, you guys. It's like, you guys are just so mean. And
do you think it had anything to do with her having some knowledge that this was going to come out?
Well, yes.
I think so, too.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then she decided to come back.
Right.
Like, I couldn't stay away from you guys, because she was probably told it's a nothing burger. Courtney Stodden is like a Z-list celebrity. No one cares.
But those tweets.
Woo, girl.
Those tweets.
You cannot ignore them.
I have to say that I could care less about either one of them.
Yeah, I don't care.
However, I, for some reason, found myself opening up the article to read the actual tweets.
Yeah.
And I was even like, holy
you should kill yourself. I'm like, what?
Oh my God. And they went on and on and on.
Was relentless.
I mean, she was horrible.
what's weird is like Courtney Stodden is that 16. She was at the time. She was 16 years old. She married a man in his 50s. The mother was all in on it. Like she's like,
he was famous,
barely famous. He was in the Green Mile.
Right. Whatever. That's it. And like a handful of other movies we don't even know.
And that's it. And then he became her quote unquote her manager, and she had this huge Marilyn Monroe thing, and
it was absurd.
It was disgusting.
It was absolutely ridiculous.
And then finally she leaves, and then she got back, and then now I believe she's alone again.
She's not with him. Yeah.
No, she had a miscarriage.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Years ago, she got pregnant and had a miscarriage at like 5 months. Like it was not an early miscarriage.
Right.
And so she's had a challenging life.
Yeah.
I think she's very pretty.
I think she's misguided.
I have followed her. She's got some
fucked up.
Her childhood is very fucked up. Now she's coming out as non-binary. I don't know what that means for her or them, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but whatever. Now, I don't know if that's what triggered all of this because she didn't say anything about Chrissy Teigen. Courtney Stodden didn't go, Chrissy Teigen used to bully me.
I don't know how did the news break then?
I don't know.
No, I think it did.
Did she like a podcast interview or something?
Something where, whatever, yeah. She somehow, here's what I think. I think it's been there all along. I think she felt powerless over somebody like Chrissy Teigen.
Sure.
Who she's like, well, no one's going to believe me. And even if I tell them, no one's going to care.
Right.
You know, I'm literally a nobody. Yeah.
You know what is so funny about Courtney Stodden before we move forward? I've always been fascinated with her. I don't know why.
Well,
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I've always been, you know why? Because I look at her and go, you did not have a mother who cared for you.
No, you didn't.
And you know
were
what? Subjected to a lot of shit.
That's what is so puzzling to me about this whole thing is like the level of hatred that was coming out of Chrissy Teigen was to me so misdirected, and I just don't get it.
Why are you projecting? You're projecting a lot of shit.
You're projecting a lot of, and by the way, she was a child when this happened.
That's right.
And Chrissy, I know your kids are young, but they're going to be 16 eventually. And how would you feel
if some woman
twice her age said these things to your child?
Horrible.
I literally my mother bear came out when I read that shit.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to fucking kick her ass.
Yeah.
I was like, you fucking bitch. Now talk about when the word cunt is appropriate.
Yeah, she was being a fucking cunt.
Such a cunt. Who says, take a dirt nap? Oh my God. It was just so bad.
It was bad.
I mean, it was about as bullyish as you can get.
Oh, and let's not forget, Chrissy Teigen has decided to become sober. She's no longer drinking.
Now.
That was about a month ago.
Chrissy Teigen, I don't think there's anything that she can do at this point to salvage because it was so blatant.
All she can do, I believe she's apologized.
Oh, she apologized.
But I mean,
publicly.
Has she said yet that she was drunk when she did it?
No.
I wonder if that's coming next. There'll be some interview where...
Well, I mean, she's going to have a hard time with it because it wasn't just like one tweet.
No, it was a barrage.
And it kept going.
It was a barrage.
It was over time, I mean, it wasn't just like...
What was the focus on this poor person, this woman?
I don't know. It's like, did she know her personally?
I don't know.
I mean, it was just weird, like the way she was coming for her.
So here's what's interesting. I listened to this other show. It's called Sunday Papers. It's with Greg Fitzsimmons and his best friend, and they're both in the entertainment world. They are writers. They've done some amazing things. They're like a little older than me, and I find them hilarious. They're just these two best friends who are like, what? What'd you say? I mean, it's just like constant. I mean, they're so funny. Well... They said, well, we're going to talk about Chrissy Teigen. And they also used to work for Ellen. They both wrote on Ellen's show. So they have some tea about that.
Well,
And so they said,
get canceled or did she quit?
They said that she got canceled, but they gave her the privilege of saying that she was calling
that she quit. Yeah,
they're like, it had nothing to do with the 40% ratings loss. It had everything to do with I'm not challenged anymore.
Right, I know. And what a thing to say.
So dumb.
Like, I mean,
so arrogant.
I'm not gonna say like I don't blame her for not coming out and being like, everybody hates me ever since. But at the same time, I'm certainly not going to come out and say, like, I wasn't challenged anymore, and that's why I'm just not going to do it.
I'm an artist.
Are you kidding me?
It's like, whatever, dude. Anyway, so...
You obviously didn't learn a fucking thing over this, did you?
No.
You entitled bitch. Anyway, go ahead.
And she's another piece of work, by the way.
She's too rich for her own fucking good.
I just don't even know. I don't know how to relate to those people. Oprah somehow keeps it real.
I don't know. But because, you know what? I hate to say this, but Oprah is a black woman who has probably not had... Although she has the privilege of money, I can't think of a woman who had to earn it harder.
I know. It's true.
She was black and a woman.
I know.
And an overweight woman.
I know.
I mean, she literally, I can't think of one more obstacle that you could put in someone's way.
Yeah, it's true. You're
I
not
think
wrong.
she's humble in that way.
I fucking like Oprah. I don't care.
I do too.
I don't care what people say. I mean, I wouldn't read all her books or watch her show every day, but I do like her. Anyway, okay, so...
But I worship no celebrities.
Me neither. These two gentlemen, Greg Fitzsimmons and his friend, and I'm so sorry I can't remember his name. Anyway, they both have worked with Chrissy Teigen. And he goes, have you worked with Chrissy Teigen? And he goes, yeah. He goes, have you? He goes, yeah. He goes, what'd you think? He goes, not pleasant.
She's a bitch.
And he goes, what do you mean? He goes, well, I was a writer for something she was hosting, and this was a few years ago. Mm-hmm. And she kept blowing me off. And I'm like, look, I really got to go over these jokes with you, make sure they're good. And she's like, I can't. And so he's like, it was 2:00 in the morning. And I got a call saying she's finishing dinner with her husband, John Legend, and would like to meet with you. And he said, no, fuck you. I'm not doing it.
Right.
And so he's like, she gets what she gets. And he goes, she absolutely was not going to be inconvenienced by someone not a celebrity.
Right.
Even though he is a celebrity, just not A-list celebrity.
Well, not everybody is on TV or on camera.
He's a stand-up comedian, but he's an exceptional writer.
Right.
And whatever. So... She's like,
it takes a lot of humans to make one human famous, by the way.
It does.
So, I mean, I'm sure he's one of those people.
Yeah, and he's famous in his own right, too. He goes, I like my level of celebrity. I can go to Whole Foods and no one knows who I am.
Exactly.
His other guy goes, what about you? He goes, yeah, she was a total bitch. He's like, she could not be bothered. She could not, she was difficult. It was horrible. And I'm like, so interesting. And I'm like, well, none of this is surprising to me.
No.
It's the same thing when people, think that someone's just, a Boy Scout perfect guy. And then you find out that he likes to eat people. You know what I mean?
Well, I think Ellen DeGeneres is a perfect example. Going back to that, I mean, everyone loved her. She's a philanthropist. She wants to save the monkeys. I mean... She's all, she's fully acceptable of anybody and anything because she was one of the first women to come out as gay publicly.
And those things are real.
Significant. And I'm not trying to take away from that, but she's a fucking cunt. She treats her staff like shit. She treats her audience like shit.
It was a long time ago, but somebody I was listening to said, the fact that she dances every day tells you she's a fraud. No one's that happy ever.
Right.
That is a projection.
It just, it was so stupid because I always hated that because I think at the beginning, I think it was a genuine thing. Like she was just...
And they're like, don't forget to dance, Ellen.
And then it turned into the thing.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's how shows get stale and stupid.
They do.
Because you just keep doing the same thing and like, let's keep riding this money train until it runs out. It's
19
like, okay.
years of it. And then, it was funny, like these guys, they were on the writing staff. They actually they quit or got fired, and they had to sign an NDA because if they did, they would be sued. He goes, when she, quote unquote, ended the show the other day, he goes, there is an ex-Ellen writer text chain that they're all on, like a group chat.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, and they're like distracted. They're like, oh, sorry, I was reading the group chat. He goes, oh, the tea. Like there's so much.
Because they can talk to each other, right?
Yes.
They just can't tell anybody else.
No, they can't.
That would be so fun.
He's like, someday we'll talk about it on the show, but now we can't.
I wonder how long do those last?
I don't know.
They can last a long time. I know that. I know my ex-husband when he left the company.
But if the show ends, I mean, who's the...
Well, yeah, but there's usually a clause that says, you can't talk about anything for X amount of years.
Yeah, but if the show doesn't exist anymore...
It doesn't matter.
That's not fair.
It's a contract,
I hate that.
Because the goal is that enough time will pass to where if you do finally tell, no one's going to fucking care.
Ellen will always be relevant when it comes to gossip.
I promise you this is not the end of her. I mean,
no, of course
she does
not.
all these stupid game shows and stuff now.
Hey, listen, I was telling, this was a while ago, but I said I wanted Ellen to quit this show years ago. I go, she should be done with this shit, go back into stand-up. I'd love to hear her be her real bitch-ass self.
This fake fucking...
Oh, my God. It's over.
It.
It's like, oh, my God. And it would be so good. She came and she's like, I'm so fucking sick of dancing, you guys. Never again will I dance.
Right.
I mean, be real. If you can be real, I will embrace you. Like,
but I mean, that is not the business of celebrity show business,
of course not.
Unfortunately.
Plus, when this shit comes out about, like, Chrissy Teigen and stuff like that, I'm just like, okay, well, this is the real tea. This is
That's
it.
True.
This is who she is. And how does John Legend put up with it? We don't know. Maybe he doesn't give a shit. Maybe he doesn't deal with her, or her temper is, like, sexy. Who knows? But I mean...
Well, I mean, I'm sure she doesn't treat him like shit. Well, who knows?
I don't know, man. If she's like this with somebody, you know, but maybe this is why she's gone sober.
She's like, I hate who I was 10 years ago. I'm like, bitch, that is who you are today. Shut up. And you don't talk like that. And to just say, oh, I've grown, I've matured. No, that is who you are.
Well, you may have grown or matured and you've gotten like, you're like, tell my assistant to tell that person that I want them to die.
You realize that like, hey, if I want to be rich and famous.
If I want to sell cookbooks, I better be nice.
I can't write this shit in public and people will still love me.
Yeah, your trajectory
Which, by the way, so like now, she's like Paula Deen. Like every single major retailer has dropped her shit.
You are only canceled if you are heavily reliant upon endorsements and you have all these contracts and stuff like that. But if you're just some person who happens to be really famous and you say some shit,
you're probably going to get over it.
You decide if you're canceled or not.
Right.
If you get super scared and, you know, cut off all ties and, you know, turn off all your social media and just say, I'm so sorry, I'm like, no. I mean, unless I did something egregious like this.
This is bad.
I wouldn't apologize.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there are some things, you know, it's very
I don't know.
odd.
And the other thing is Chrissy Teigen is very, very tight with the Kardashians. So I'm immediately like, oh,
God.
Like, are they all like that? Like, are they all horrible, hateful?
I don't think so. They're way too selfish.
And we just don't see it?
No. I think that they have a lot of power, and I think that they use it, and I think, like, when these little girls fuck their exes or their current boyfriends or husbands, I think that they make their lives hell.
Oh, absolutely.
But I don't think they're not going to do anything publicly. They're not stupid.
Well, Kim, I mean, Kim is, from what I've read, her brand, like the brand
that's her thing.
And she's so protective of it. She's obsessed.
In fact, I read now the stuff's coming out. Kanye's making his little digs.
Oh, Kanye is?
Kanye said, he goes,
I know, he hasn't said shit.
Well, he said she's obsessed with her fame. She's obsessed with fame. I hated that we were always being filmed.
Yeah.
It ruined everything. He goes, and we only stuck it out longer because of the filming. Like, he's saying it had nothing to do, I could have been anybody. Is what he's saying. I'm like, dude, you literally took over her life when you came in. Like, she let you do everything.
She did.
So shut up.
Yeah, I disagree. I think he's really egotistical.
And he's also very ill.
And that too.
Yes.
But I mean, it doesn't change the fact that he's an egomaniac.
Oh my God. Sunday service, everyone.
Well, and he, you know, I always felt like he always treated Kim like a possession.
Totally.
It was just like, it was the ultimate fuck you to the world.
Yeah.
I'm a black man. I have achieved more money than most people can ever dream of. I'm a billionaire.
Yes.
And I have the most beautiful, sexy white woman on the planet that I'm married to. So it was like, I don't know that he ever was genuinely like,
in love.
I'm so in love with you.
Yeah, like, it's true.
Like, as a partner.
I agree. Interesting. Anyway, so we'll see what happens with Chrissy. I mean, how many people can actually have their jaw on the floor right now with this? And no one, if you know anything about anything, you should know.
Well, I mean, I think it happened, it's been a little over a week, because it kind of happened around the time when you were leaving to go on vacation, so we didn't get a chance to talk about it.
I think the after effects will be interesting.
She just recently was photographed by the Pops at Disneyland with her and the kids and John Legend. I was like, bitch, you have your nerve going out to fucking Disneyland right about now.
Well, that's the other thing that a lot of people think is that she's quite tone deaf when it comes to her wealth.
Yeah.
With her wealth.
And I mean, I'm guessing John Legend is the moneymaker in that family.
I would imagine she was a model. But
I mean, they don't make that much money.
John Legend is very, very successful.
I'm thinking it's him, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, so speaking of Bully, I do not know how this happened, but I'm going to tell you this very interesting story. Did you have a childhood bully?
I did.
Okay, so did I.
It didn't last a long time, but
mine lasted from like end of 5th grade until like the end, like towards the middle of 8th grade.
Mine was like 5th and 6th.
Mine carried over to junior high.
Oh, see, mine didn't.
And she was.
We went to different schools though.
We did. I was very afraid of her because it wasn't her one-on-one. She always had a group of girls with her.
Always. Because that's how bitches are. Oh,
yes.
God.
And so someone's like, you could take her. And I'm like, she has like 6 huge behemoth girls with her.
And they all do exactly what she says.
And they'll do whatever she wants.
Because she bullies them too. Guess what?
Oh my God. I was so terrified in 6th grade specifically. And then in 7th grade, she continued harassing me. And the only reason...
Have been jealous.
The only reason she stopped was a friend of mine, Heather. I don't want to use names, but I think I kind of want to.
Because we're all on Facebook, that's why.
Well, this girl is not.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm actually friends with my Facebook.
Okay, well,
bully.
mine, her name was Jody, and the only reason
I know who it is.
I know, and so
has the last name start with a P?
No.
Oh.
And so no. Oh yeah, that was high school, but no. No, this is Jody, and she actually, our moms were real estate agents together, and so Mom hated her mother. Mom hated her because she was a slut, and that's how she got listings.
Have to tell me when we're done with this.
Okay, so she would get listings because she would sleep with people, and
ew,
everybody, whatever. Who knows if that's true or not?
It's probably true.
But anyway,
Mom was a prude.
We went to school together, and she did not like me, and so she started bullying me. And it was just like, I'm going to kick your ass. And, it's like in 6th grade, that means a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the other thing. Our home life was quite tumultuous.
Yes.
And
violent.
Having someone at school tell me they're going to beat me up was like double worse.
It was like there was nowhere to escape.
And I wasn't old enough to know. It's like, listen, I get it at home. You're nothing. I'm going to kick your ass.
Right.
Like I hadn't hit that point yet.
No.
I did hit that point, but
yes, you did because you saved me.
Yes. So, but not yet. And so anyway.
It was like, yeah, you were like a freshman.
7th grade, same thing. And it wasn't daily, but she would decide to
you would definitely
terror.
Avoid her in the halls if you had.
Oh my God. And so then it was the middle of 8th grade, and this girl that I was friends with, Heather, this boy that liked her, and she was really, really pretty, and she just everything. Well, Jody happened to like or dated this guy at one point as well, so she turned all of the fury she had on me towards Heather.
Oh.
And I told Heather, she goes, "What? Who is this girl, Jody?" And I was like, "Oh God." I said, "Listen, I'm really sorry. There's nothing I can do." Because I'm not protecting you. And I'm like,
I can't.
I'm so sorry, but, and she's like, she got what the fuck?
So now we're both scared of her? Great.
She never spoke to me again after she turned
Your friend?
No. Jody, the bully, never bothered me again after that. She turned her attention to somebody else, and it was over.
Okay.
My 3 years of hell had ended.
Wow.
That day. And I was like, this is wonderful. I just was like, I'm so relieved. It was crazy. And so anyway, why I was thinking about that, I was preparing for Hawaii a few weeks ago, and I was reading, there's this really cool news source on social media, and so I was reading about what's going on. I was looking at their COVID spiking, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And then I read something, about bullying, and I went, I wonder what happened to my high school or my school bully. So I Googled. I went to Facebook.
I love Google.
Put her name in, and there was a few.
Isn't it surprising how easy it is to find people that you think would be hiding?
Easy, right? So I'm like, I wonder who this is. So then I went to Google because I'm like, there's
you
too
can
many.
find out a lot on Google. LinkedIn is great.
Plus, people get married, and we're older. It's been forever. It's been 100 years, and so I put it in, and then this came up.
She's not dead.
She's not dead. So I came up, and I'm like, yeah, that's her. And so there was a news article about her in the Honolulu Press.
How weird.
She has been homeless.
Oh my God, Jamie, the best revenge ever.
She had been homeless for like 9 years. She had been pregnant, lost her child, obviously, and one of her parents was caring for the child. So she'd been living homeless.
How did she end up in the paper, though?
Because after she lost custody of her child, she's like, I can't live like this anymore. She was an addict and mentally ill and homeless, and she had been for quite some time. And so she's like, there's a service, a homeless rehab service there, and I finally decided to accept the help. So they got her off the street, and now she's like an advocate.
Oh, okay.
She's like their poster child, whatever. But that was like in 2018, 2019, so it wasn't that long ago.
Right.
And so I'm reading that going, wow, this is fascinating. And so
I was satisfying.
Well, what was funny is that I actually ran into her when Tyler, my son, was like a year old, and I was at Macy's shopping. And this was 25 years ago.
That was a long time ago, yeah.
And so she came up to me. She's like, "Oh my God, hi, Jamie." And I was like, "Oh God!" I was like, "Ew, hi." She goes, "How are you? What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm leaving." And I just walked away. I'm like, "Fuck you,
really, bitch." Why
do bullies act like they didn't do anything? I don't understand.
I don't know. I same.
So I'm reading of this, and so I'm like, all right. So I found the one on Facebook, and she hasn't been on since like 2019. and her mom still lives here, so I'm assuming her mom is raising her child,
probably.
And so so Daryl comes in and goes, "What are you doing?" Like, well, I just found out that my first school bully was homeless and was a drug addict in Hawaii. Isn't that
so
weird?
Great.
He's like, "That's so weird." I go, "Yeah, I think it's fine." He goes, "Well, isn't that sad?" I'm like, No, not really. I'm like, not really. No, it's not. And then I was finding all these things like, what happened to your high school bully, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, they ended up in jail. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. And so some people are like, they are very successful. They have a happy wife and a happy life, and they are still an asshole.
Right.
But
that's
fine.
mine. That's mine.
Yeah. And so I was like, I cannot
She's not very successful, but she literally looks exactly the same as we did.
Yeah.
Same hair. She's one of those people that probably has the exact same hair that she had in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Same fake kind of. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Her best friend's gay, and they have all these pictures on Facebook, and I'm like, God, you really make me want to vomit.
You want them to, but you know what? Even those,
but mine wasn't that bad.
But like, those bullies, they still do pay a price.
Oh, for
because there's most people don't trust them,
right?
First of all, because they talk shit
She's
constantly.
A jerk.
But it was just like I could not believe it. I was like, wow. I mean, homeless in Hawaii. I mean, that is insane. What a mind blowing thing,
right? It's such a what a blessing.
Really? And I'm like, I feel so good.
I've looked for mine, and you know the girl I'm talking about because she was the one that you helped me. She used to, we can't name drop because it's like there's just way too many people who are on our Facebook.
Hold on, say it. Okay, we muted all of that. Yes, so those people and a lot of the bullies don't leave town. They're still here. They peaked and stayed. That's where they are.
Too. And I hate that because I kind of feel like we didn't peak and stay, but I don't know if we were ever, I would be a little curious to know what somebody candidly thought about me or us,
I'm sure it's okay, here's the thing.
But not from an asshole.
No.
Not from someone who, someone who
here's
real.
The thing. So apparently my class has decided we need to do a high school reunion this summer.
God.
And I'm like, do I go? Because I always avoid it. Because
I've never been to one.
They always do it in some shit bar, and they're like, it was so fun. And I'm like, you know what? I'm sure it was, but I just don't know if I have it in me.
I couldn't do it.
I don't know if I have it in me.
They tried to get me to go. My same circle of friends that I hung with in school. And I was like, I have gained so much weight since high school.
That's not even why I wouldn't go.
That's why I did not go.
They had a reunion. We had a high school.
But I mean, they all look like shit too. So I'm like, I should have just gone.
It's just aging. But I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. There was a high school reunion, and they did it downtown, and a lot of people.
We did ours at the Sheridan.
A ton of people showed up that I would have actually loved to have visited with. Came, and there was, you know what, they always do it on my anniversary weekend, and we're never here. This year it looks like they're going a little later into the month, and I'm like, well, I might want to go, but we'll see. I don't know,
I went to my husband's, which was fun because
he's so much older than you.
Well, yeah. Jamie, I was like a fucking celebrity. It was great.
They're like, Jerry, you did
had the best time. No, it was so funny because I literally had the best time.
That's awesome.
They had it at, we have a huge hotel here in town at the Sheridan, and yes, he is 18 years older than me.
Okay.
So he graduated high school the year I was born.
Oh my God.
So it was awesome.
How fun to tell everybody.
And I was at
my daughter is your age.
Yeah. No, it was great because I was sitting, they have those giant round banquet tables that you sit at, they seat like 10 people for dinner, it was, I can't remember if it was a buffet or if it was catered. I don't remember, but I was sitting there, and he, of course, was having a blast. He was talking to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
We got very intoxicated.
What?
Yeah, duh. I wore something really, really skimpy. And by the way, this was at least 15 years ago. So I was much lighter and younger even then. And he was over talking to someone, and he was pointing at me. From afar, and I'm like looking at him like, what the fuck, why are you pointing at me? So he walks over and he's like, introduces me to this person, and the person looks at him, he's like, I swear to fucking God, I thought you were lying. Because he was like, that's my wife. And he's like, you're lying, that is not your wife. He's like, I swear to God. So he's like, that's me. He's like, I'll introduce you.
Oh my God.
So then I went to the restroom later, and I was in the bathroom, and I was doing, every chick in the place is in there doing their lipstick and putting powder on. And I was doing that and everything, and then these 3 girls were like, we all hate you.
Why?
But they were laughing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? They're like, you literally make us look like we're fucking ancient.
Aww.
And I'm like, sorry. I loved it. I freaking milked that whole night. It was so awesome. I mean, every single guy that Jerry had ever been friends with came up to me and was like, Jerry, can I please dance with your wife? I danced the whole night.
Oh my God.
The whole night.
I'm jealous.
It was so, I was like, we have to go to these more often.
Oh my God.
Did they have a 31-year reunion?
Damn it. I married too young. Oh, well.
Yeah, no. One of the very few times that I can tell you where it was not the worst
lovely
thing.
silver lining to be
It was fun,
belle of the ball. Literally the belle of the ball.
It was literally
That's awesome.
fun.
Oh, my
yeah.
God. I love it.
I mean, honestly, of the 150, 200 people that were there, however many, I was literally the only, he was the only person who had a young wife.
Yeah.
So it was kind of strange now that I think about it. Looking around, I'm like, God, man, these people are fucking old,
Well, like I said, so it was my birthday a few weeks ago, and I go through this weird depression, and I don't even realize it.
It's so weird, Jamie.
I was saying something, and Daryl goes, "What are you thinking about?" And this was like way before our vacation or everything, and he goes, "What are you thinking about?" And I'm like, "Just wondering if you still like me." He's like, "What?" And I go, "Yeah, I mean, I just wonder. I mean, am I getting old and codgery and just kind of like a difficult?" He's like, "No," and I said, I don't know.
Daryl worships you, Jamie.
And he goes, "What is going on?" I go, "I don't know. I'm just kind of feeling like shit." And he goes, "Oh, this is because it's your birthday." I go, "It's my birthday?" He goes, "Well, soon." I go, "Oh my God, it's my birthday. I forgot." I go through this for like 2 weeks. I think I'm old and just a pile of shit. And,
oh my God.
Well, I'm sorry that I just do. I don't know what it is. I hate... I said this before. I don't mind aging. I think growing older is a privilege that not everybody has.
That's
I don't
true.
take that for granted. But it doesn't mean I got to look like it.
Right.
I don't want to look like the Joker, but I just... the biggest thing, honestly...
Like Cameron Diaz?
Is I don't want my body to betray me. Like,
well,
I don't...
It will.
I don't want it to.
There's really nothing you can do about that. That's the thing. You can get a facelift, but you can't get a body lift.
Well, I mean, you could exercise and stuff is what I mean. But, I mean, you can't stop everything.
I mean, have you ever seen an old woman that works out and stuff? They still look old.
Yeah, they're old. But I was in the shower.
Just thin.
I was in the shower, and I'm just sitting there going... there are times when, and this is so weird and random, there are times when I'll walk in or out of the grocery store and I'll see like very old, elderly people walking in, barely shuffling in or whatever, and I stride out like it ain't no thing. And I'm like, man, I'm so glad that I'm not old like that. You will be. And then I'm in the shower going, well... one day, that'll be me, and then I will see them, and they will be going, thank God I'm not that way.
Totally.
It's going to be me, and that'll be the changing of the guard, and I'll just have to deal with it.
I know.
I'll just have to accept it.
It's true.
And I hate it.
I do too. Well, and it's worse for me because, I mean, barring that I get hit by a truck or die of cancer, I most likely will outlive my husband.
I know.
And I'm like, Jesus, I'm going to be in my early 60s, I'm like, or 7... I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it's really difficult to say.
He can't. Yeah, he will definitely.
But most definitely, and so
if nature
he's not going to die tomorrow.
No, but if nature takes its course,
yeah. And I was like, that was really dumb, Stephanie, because the timing is actually horrible. Because by the time he does pass away, I'll be old,
and nobody will want you.
I won't be decrepit like I'm going to die old.
You're going to have to,
but I'm going to be old enough to where I'm not going to be like able to go out and like hustle someone and find a new mate. Yeah, I'm like, so I am going to be single for like 20 years,
or you're going to have to settle for some ugly person that just
already there. No, I'm just kidding.
You're gonna have to find another old person who'll be like, she's so young, she's only 60.
I know, right?
Like that's my concern.
Where do you find an 80-year-old rich man?
Golf.
See, I've been telling you for years that we have to learn how to golf. It's for me. Do it for me.
All right, fine. I'll do it for you.
You will still be married. Your husband is still young. You guys are the same age.
I know. He's like, I'm going to die before you. I'm like, how do you know? I don't think so. And he's like,
no
one knows. But anyway, fine. We'll learn how to golf, and then we'll find you a rich man.
Yes.
For later.
We all know that I can gut the old thing, all right?
I know.
It's not like a fetish or anything.
I can too, actually.
It doesn't bother me. I mean, there's something, because...
I don't mind being with an older man.
I think for me, one of the reasons why I've always tended to like men older, not as old as my husband happens to be, but I've never not dated older people, is because the immaturity level that comes with men in general is so incredibly annoying to me.
It's very annoying.
I can't fucking deal with it. Like, I just can't deal with it.
I just like men. I like men who are, first of all, the one thing that I really like about Daryl, one of the things, well, there's a couple of things, but one of the things that I really like about him, he's so comfortable in his own masculinity. He doesn't feel like he has to prove anything.
Right.
He doesn't have to be macho and have to be old, extra manly. He's like, I am a man. And this is what I am, you know?
Right?
And so it's like, I love that about him. He doesn't have anything to prove.
Confidence,
and, well, it's called big dick energy. That's what it's called. And I mean,
I've not heard this one.
You will meet men all the time, and you'll be like, they are the biggest dorks on the planet, but they don't give a shit. It's because they have a big dick and they don't care.
That's so funny.
Men who have big dicks do not brag about having big dicks. Never.
No, they don't.
You will never hear about it. Their women will be like, dude, it's got to.
I know, right?
But men who truly have big dicks will never brag about it.
I think
they don't have to.
That's so funny.
They don't have to.
For the longest time, I would constantly justify why I was with Jerry to people, to women, other girls, like people my age, attractive women specifically, because it's like, I don't know why, but when you're younger, it's all about like, what does your husband look like, or what, you know what I mean? When you get older, then it's like you get it. You're like, oh, you know, he could be the ugliest person on earth.
He's amazing,
right? But he's amazing, right?
He's funny or whatever.
Yeah. And I never understood why I was attracted to Jerry. Like, even way back in the day when we were dating, I'm like, I just don't get it. Like, what is it about him that? But he's very confident. He's very just so okay.
He is who he is.
He knows what he looks like. Yeah. He knows what he is. He doesn't care about any of that. And then when I started having sex with him, I was like, I get it. I'm like, I do. And because I was also fascinated by how many women he had in his past. And I'm like, all these girls, I don't understand. You know, like, what do they see in you? Now I know.
Now you know. It's so true. And those guys have nothing to prove.
He doesn't have,
they have nothing to prove.
That's why we can't fight about that kind of thing. Nope. Like, you know, because in his mind, he's like, look, I know I'm not the most, this is him.
Yeah, I got you.
This is what he says to me. I'm not the most attractive guy or whatever, and my wife is gorgeous. Yeah. You know, and that's just a thing he's accepted. You know, that I'm beautiful. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's lovely.
And, well, all right.
It is.
And just quite the opposite is like, if a man who doesn't have confidence is literally like the most pathetic.
Oh, they're desperate.
They're just awful.
I remember it was Paula's bachelorette party, and we were at that bar in Folsom, and I found the one sad, weepy guy who was separated. He's like, I just want to have a family. I'm living with my mother right now. I'm like, oh my God.
Get away from me.
He goes, you want to have a drink? I'm like, absolutely not. I go, no,
might as well just spray Raid on me.
Ew,
watch me die.
God, I want to go look at the drunk people dancing. Get away from me. Ugh.
Yeah, there's literally nothing more unattractive than a man that does not have confidence.
The worst. All right, so I have some HUglee and Awkward Moments, and then we'll close out the show. These are very funny. All right, here's the first one. I've never seen this happen. I wish I had. I would love it. This is a gentleman. I had a great day at a water park, and toward the afternoon, a woman came up to me and whispered in my ear that I have a problem with my swim trunks. I reached behind and noticed a huge gap. The fabric was torn right in the middle, and you could see my white, untanned ass crack.
Oh, God.
I had been running around all day like this, and no one said anything.
Oh, my God.
One woman!
That's so mean!
You know, the woman goes, I'm going to say something. You know,
I would have said something.
I would have, too. I
had to.
Hey, you, come here. Your ass is showing. What? Just feel.
I mean, if you really didn't know.
How did you not feel that?
I don't know.
Men are dumb.
They are dumb. I mean, they don't know they walk around with shit skids in their pants or, you know, something visible that they are like, what?
So stupid.
That's why they need wives.
This one, I don't even know. This one makes me laugh, too. I was in an NFL game, and something I ate earlier had just wrecked my stomach and left me with horrible gas.
Then leave.
Like the kind that clears a room.
Oh, my God.
I was walking up the stairs.
Smoked Gouda?
I was walking up the stairs to my seat mid-game and really had to fart. Right then, the crowd cheered, and I thought, oh, the moment was right. What I didn't realize is that my ass was at the same level as a woman sitting in her seat on the aisle.
Oh, my God, you asshole.
And I literally farted right in her ear.
Oh my God. It was so funny.
Hold on. I looked back at her as she looked at me with shock and disgust.
Oh my God.
I quickly turned away and ran up the stairs as fast as I could and blended into the crowd. I still think about her from time to time and how horrible that must have been truly for her.
Oh my God.
And I cringe at what an idiot I was.
You are an idiot. I was in the grocery store with my son the other day, and we're walking through the aisles, and I'm doing my thing, and I always have to hurry when I have my son with me because he abhors going to the store.
I have the same problem.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I'm hurrying up, and he's like, God. And my son is gotten to the point to where he's still a baby to me. He's 9, okay? But he's gotten very articulate and funny. And so now when he says things, it's with purpose, and he's thoughtful, and he's smart, you know. So we're walking along, and my son's like, God, Mom. I'm like, what? He's like, why do I just feel like I have to fart so bad?
Oh.
I'm like,
oh my God.
I look around, you know, I'm like, Chef. Because he said it like normal, you know. I look around, I'm like, honey. I was like, well, probably because you have to. I'm like, but please don't. And you know.
Oh no.
He's like, I know, I'm trying not to. I've been trying and everything. I was like, okay. So I kind of forgot about it. We left. Later on that night, I'm putting him to bed and everything, and he's being so cute and everything. I'm like, oh, Jeff, I'm like, when we were in the store earlier, remember? And I start laughing. I go, and you told me you had to fart really bad. I'm like, what ended up happening? He's like, well, I didn't do it. I go, you didn't? He goes, I think what happened was I just squeezed it up into my body that it eventually came out as a burp. He goes, I'm just hoping I don't have skids in my mouth.
Gross. That's gross.
I was like, what?
Disgusting.
I started laughing. You don't have skids in your mouth.
Future, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, God, it was so funny.
Future generation.
Yeah. But it's such a boy thing, God.
Oh, my God,
Because
totally.
I'm sorry, if I'm in a professional, a stadium at a football game and something like that is occurring to me, I will squeeze my ass cheeks till forever.
I'm not doing
until
that
they
to myself.
suction up inside.
God, I'm not doing anything to cause any kind of embarrassment in a large facility.
God.
Ridiculous. Anyway,
Only a man would think it would be okay to let it go at some point.
Well, they're cheering. No one will hear it.
Never okay.
Yeah, no one will smell it either, apparently.
Really? God, that reminds me of that. I said smoke Gouda for a reason because I remember when I was growing up, I was going to say, before I had my daughter and I was with my first husband, well, he's disgusting. He's a guy. He's such a guy, right? So he was always disgusting. And we were into like trying gourmet foods back then.
Oh, yeah.
We went to the Nugget by our house and bought all of these amazing cheeses. Well, smoked cheeses are deadly.
They're not good.
So we ate ginormous amounts of them.
Oh, my God.
And me being humble as I am, I'm like, well, nothing's wrong with me.
I'm fine.
Yeah. But he was just letting it go. And he's like, never eat smoked Gouda. He's like, I can't even smell myself. He was like running away from his own body.
Like, help.
He couldn't get away.
Oh, God.
That was a big joke for the longest time. We were like, oh, God, if we want to get revenge on somebody, let's buy him a block of smoked Gouda.
Oh, my God. I don't think I've ever had smoked Gouda.
It's delicious, but I wouldn't recommend eating it in volumes.
Don't eat it around Daryl anyway. That'll never happen. Right. Jesus. All right. Well, unfortunately, that's all we have. I had other things I want to talk to you about, but we're running out of time, so we'll have to do it next time. Next show. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.